We're here at the Iowa Horse Fair, and one of our sponsors who's been with us forever is Chuck Potter from Hoof Cinch. Chuck, how are you?
Hi, Steve.
You know, we're sitting here and we're visiting, and after a couple days, it's unbelievable about the wealth of knowledge that Chuck has in terms of dealing with horses with founder and laminitis. Could you sort of enlighten us a little bit on the situation and the leading causes to founder and laminitis and what you look for and how you address the situation?
Sure, yeah. With founder, the biggest problem is normally the underlying cause. Okay, we have to figure out why the horse foundered. I keep hearing people come in the booth, my horse grass foundered, my horse winter foundered, a heat foundered, whatever, stress. Right. There's no such thing. I mean, there's underlying cause. Okay, all horses eat grass. Why did your horse eat grass and founder? Okay, so there's blood tests that we do to figure those out. So the vets,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the veterinarian should know what blood tests they need to draw, and we normally draw 3. We look for just insulin, ACTH, and their thyroid level.
Okay.
And the thyroid won't make them founder, but they don't feel good if it's low.
Okay.
So there's medications to make them feel better.
Okay.
Then we take care of the mechanical side, and then that's where the hoof cinch comes in.
Okay.
So once we apply the hoof cinch, what it does, it bolts right on or screws right onto the hoof capsule, and then it stabilizes the front of the hoof so it's not flexing in and out. And that's where the pain comes when the horse takes a step.
From the hoof wall delaminating from the...
Right.
From
every
what?
time the horse steps, those lamini are getting jerked.
Okay.
And that,
like
so this
Velcro.
stops this.
Okay.
You know? So then it starts to redirect the growth is the next process that the hoof cinch does. That gentle pressure that we're applying to the top of the hoof capsule, it grows downward with the foot and redirects the growth back along the bone.
So how does that affect, like in terms of rotation with the hoof capsule?
Yeah, it just grows that out. We can't move the bone, but we can move the hoof wall.
Okay.
And so that's what the hoof cinch does. It just redirects that hoof wall to grow back along the bone because it grows just like your fingernail from the top down.
Okay.
So we're just taking that new growth as it and redirecting it back along the bone.
I gotcha. So is there any type of special shoeing or trimming when you use the hoof cinch?
Yeah, the biggest thing is we want to elevate the heels.
Okay.
And we want to clear sole pressure. Most of the time when I get people that call in, they'll say, my horse is still sore. We put the hoof cinch on, he's better, but he's still slightly sore. Send me a picture of the feet. Almost every time it's been flat foot trimmed.
Okay.
And the sole is right on the ground. So if you've got a bone that's pointed downward, straight down towards the ground,
right,
and every time he steps now, that pressure's pushing right against the tip of the bone.
It's going to hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So we have to get rid of that pressure. And usually what I'll do is I'll just put a open-heeled shoe. You don't put it on backwards or sideways, just put it on the right way.
Okay, so there's no trick to that.
No.
You're just, all right.
Yeah, and the reason I like this shoe is that there's so many nail positions for it, so if the horse is hurting in one part of the foot, you can pick where you want to put your nails, and you only need like 4 nails because the horse isn't racing the Kentucky Derby tomorrow.
Right, he's not feeling too good, so he's not going to pull it off.
Exactly. So you can pick your area where you want to put your nails, get this on, and this thing actually has a wedge heel on it too.
Okay.
And so that lifts the heels and clears your sole pressure all at the same time.
So after they start having the hoof cinch on, how long do you usually start to see results where the horse is starting to feel better?
You should see something as soon as you tighten it up.
Okay.
If you have a horse that's in an acute stage, so it's hurting right now.
Right.
So if his feet are in front of him, and you tighten the bands, as you tighten, his feet should come back under center of gravity under the horse.
Okay.
So he should stand normally when you're done.
Okay. Now in terms of rotation, is there sort of a ballpark when you start to see that the degree of rotation start to minimize where that hoof wall is starting to come down along that wall?
Depends on how fast their feet grow.
Okay.
And so, I mean, in most cases, we're looking at 16 to 20 weeks before we finish with it. If it's an older horse, like you have a 20-year-old with Cushing's, it can take a longer process, so you might be on there for a couple months more.
Right.
But
we're talking, there's a lot of horses that I know that I've gotten phone calls, and horses have been foundered, and I have these phone calls with owners. They've been foundered for years. So really 16 weeks isn't a long time to wait when you've already dealt with founder and laminitis for 2 to 3 years and the horse is living on bute. Chuck, could you show us about the lamina and how you were talking about the delamination?
This is a normal foot, okay? So the bone is tight against the hoof wall. The lamini are in between the bone and the hoof capsule.
Okay.
All right, so when a horse founders, the bone rotates down. It means the lamini don't just disappear, they just stretch out.
Okay.
So if we pick up a foundered foot.
So this is a healthy foot.
That's a healthy foot. This is a foundered foot. And you can see the stretch
Oh,
in
wow.
there. So there's not an empty space when this happens. The lamini are still there.
Right.
They're just stretched out.
Okay.
And that's all we're doing is redirecting them by applying pressure right about here with the hoof cinch, redirecting that growth then straight back down along the bone. So in the end, when we're done, it should go back to looking like that.
But you could see like how long that heel is right there, and is that helping cause that rotation?
No, we actually do elevate the heels on foundered horses.
Okay.
Now, so we a lot of times when a horse is foundered, we'll leave the heels alone, not trim them. We'll trim mostly toe.
Okay.
And it's like breaking an arm. We don't set it so the bones are lined up.
Okay.
And that we fix the bone and then we realign the alignment afterward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So after the hoof cinch is applied, is there any type of maintenance, or do we just put it on once and forget it? What do we do after it's on?
Yeah, that's good. Once we put it on, what I normally do is I'll show the owners how to check the tightness.
Okay.
Okay, so flathead screwdriver only. Put it in, tighten it up until it's as tight as you can get it by hand.
Okay.
Now you do need to check it about every 2 to 3 days, because as the horse moves, the hoof cinch doesn't restrict anything. It puts a slight pressure up here, but the heels can still move up and down, in and out, flex. So as it flexes in and out, this worm screw can loosen up.
Okay.
So you check it and just retighten it.
All right.
Once it's in the way of trimming as it grows down the foot,
Right.
the farrier takes it off, moves it back to the top, and lets it grow down again.
All right, awesome. Chuck, I appreciate everything. Hoof Cinch has been with us going on 6 years now, and it's one of the products that I recommend that every horse owner has in their barn, has in their first aid kit. If you want to start being active and treat founder as soon as it sets on and get your horse cured and back to his normal everyday activities, trust in the Hoof Cinch.